left minus, but a characteristic one. All right.
So, the grand finale, it's come down to this. The Rally of Cyprus. Mixed surface and mixed fortunes right from the very start this morning. Get to that in a moment, shall we? Let's see what we've got to deal with. Paphos, just to the southwest of Nicosia, is Rally Service Park Central. And this is day one. Day two, just shy of the 100-kilometre mark of competitive rallying. What a magnificent part of the world Cyprus is. Ruins of ancient magnitude. And I've got to tell you that this morning some ruins of slightly newer nature as well. It's a gorgeous destination should you ever need to find some winter sun at about this time of year. The weather, though, far from the minds of those who are competing for the title this year. 5 men remaining in contention, who, at the end of this one, will be champion. Cyprus Rally, then, the most gorgeous backdrop you could possibly hope for. It's a mixed drag event. Yes, and as you can see, the old wreck beached on the side there. We'll talk about Johanna in a moment. Rally of Cyprus, the final round then. We do, of course, have the goal to enjoy on Sunday, which is an entirely different event done for money. So how did they sort themselves out yesterday is the big question. We'll be ready to go rallying in just a short while. This morning, before we actually got underway, proceedings-wise, and what about these top 5? Jan Kopecki leads for the moment, 131 points. 2 mid-season victories in the Czech Republic and Hungary have elevated Jan Kopecki to the top of the IRC driver standings. It's Skoda Motorsport Fabia Super 2000 seems to be the car to beat, but is it? We'll see. Out to stop him, of course, Johanna. And has 125 points. Yes, hugely consistent. Kopecki's teammate, she's done a proper job. And of course, has become the Super 2000 World Champion as well. So kind of done the job already as far as Skoda are concerned. But he is here and he's bidding for contention. Up next, Thierry Neuville. Harry Potter, they call him. Yes, he and with Rally Monte Carlo winner Brian Bouffier not in action, it means that Neuville is the sole Peugeot hope here. Watch out for the flying banana. You will hope that he does not get caught out. He really is a title contender, as the morning's news will prove. Andreas Mikkelsen as well can never be counted out. 22 years of age, the youngest of the title contenders, starts the event on the back of his maiden victory in Scotland. What a run that was for the Norwegian. Yes, rallying as good as he looks. Fast Freddy Loix. Is he fast on gravel with his Tintin haircut? Yes, the Belgian knows how to drive fast on tarmac, so that should be good for around about 60% of the surface here. It's the gravel bits that may well catch out Fast Freddy. The winner will score 50 points, don't forget, so it's still possible for those 5 drivers we've just seen, including Fast Freddy, to take the title. Bouffier not here, of course, which is a shame. That's Alataya. He's here, returning to the IRC for the first time since he won this event in 2010. The Autotech Motorsport M Sport Ford Fiesta S2000, probably the longest name in rallying. Yes, well, he's long in the tooth as well, and huge on experience here. He says, I have the experience. I think I will go well. That was a bad impersonation. Mikkelsen took last night's opening super special in Kolonina. Yes, in fact, the top 5 were all there. Looking very good indeed. In the top 6, that is. Sandel finished 5th, incidentally, ahead of Freddy Loix. It was Mikkelsen, Neuville, Alataya, Kopecki, Sandel, Loix. Yes, and when you looked at the overall standings, Mikkelsen atop them with an 8-second gap over Neuville. Not bad, having completed that. So, what about today as we come into it? Jan Kopecki then. Well, there he is. That's the championship standings as it is at the moment. Hannanen close to him, but I've got to tell you that it's been a bit of a disaster for Hannanen this morning, very early on. Neuville, he's okay, but the car definitely is not, and his championship aspirations lie in tatters, I'm afraid. So there's the driver's standings for you after round 10, but Hannanen will not be taking that step forward, I can tell you. second corner of the opening stage of this morning, so leg 2, saw him go off the road, which is a real shame. So, driver standings, Guy Wilkes not here, of course, and you already know about Brian Bouffier. Look at the weather, be jealous. Skoda then, our manufacturer's standings leader and title winner. Peugeot with just the one car here in of the official runners, and that of course is Thierry Neuville in the yellow Belux machine. Proton, well, they just had a very good run in China, incidentally, wrapping up the title there between their two drivers. 1 and 2, not bad at all. Anderson and McRae, of course, enjoying life there. Stage 2, Salamiou, or Solomio, perhaps, being sung out. The poor old Juha Hänninen going off on the second corner of the morning stage, and Andrew Coley, a bit of a disaster for us.
Massive disaster. Everyone was looking forward to a decent title battle, a 5-way title battle. Of course, Bouffier missing. We'll discuss that later. But Hänninen made an uncharacteristic mistake. He's made a couple this year. He managed to tie up the SWRC recently, and I had him odds on for winning both titles, Carlton, SWRC and the IRC, and he's let me down, but never mind.
Let you down, and not even let you down gently. Not good. No. About 4 minutes to go, and everyone very animated. Freddie Loix looking a bit circumspect. The reason is he lost 45 seconds on the opening stage this morning, and I've got to tell you as well, he had no problems.
No, he didn't, but his big problem was he hasn't been on gravel since 2009, and he just hasn't got his head around the car on that surface. Lost an enormous amount of time. Yeah,
as he said, 3 years away, and he really had problems finding his rhythm. Yeah, such a long gap since he's been on gravel, but of course comes here because he's still in the race for the championship, as you see. Don't forget the second run live this afternoon that we'll be seeing, also on this same course that we're dealing with this morning, will be on British Eurosport 2 and Eurosport International 1. So the main Eurosport International channel and British Eurosport 2. Would hate to miss any of the action. And to be honest, if this morning's anything to go by, there will be plenty of that. So this is the overall classification as we come into this one. Where's Freddie Loix? Way down the order is the answer to that. Mickelson leads Neuville by 8 seconds. It was a 3.1 second gap overnight after the first super special. And really, really going well. Neuville, well, is it between Neuville and Mickelson, with Kopecky running in 3rd place at the moment? They seem to be quicker than him throughout. Will 3rd place be enough for Kopecky? Not necessarily. He has to finish 1st or 2nd in this rally to be champion, and it might be a tall order. There is Freddie Loix. All right, he's in 6th place, but 50.4 seconds down. And you've got to look a long way before you find any of the local Cypriots here. The Valenvine did very well, Mark Valenvine, earlier on. Very, very good for... he was looking good for 8th place, but a couple of quick runs came through. Here is Toshi Arai, who's going to be, looks like, getting us underway here, Andrew.
He does indeed. So Toshi Arai coming down to the start line then in the R4 spec in Pretz. So this is its last outing in the RC, and we're looking forward to seeing what it's going to be doing today.
What have we got? This are the rises and falls. So a little crest, little tiny kick up before the nasty descent, as you can see, all the way down to 234 meters above sea level. We are way in the hills here. They do rise very quickly away from the coastline. We're climbing up to a maximum of 780 meters, all over just 18.16 kilometers. As you can see, it does wiggle like a serpent, which we're used to. We like that. It is, as we've said, mixed surface, this. Andrew, percentages get very, very interesting here.
64.2%, I believe this one, Carlton, is on the tarmac. 35 gravel. The big problem here for the drivers is they have to run the gravel setup. These are rough gravel roads. They're going to have high ride heights, gravel tyres and gravel spec suspension, so we can expect to see them really chuck it around the tarmac. This was good fun last year. It was.
We may well take a short commercial break. No disrespect to Toshi. He's on a special tyre today. We said, what's the tyre? He said, special. That's all we've got. We have no idea more than that. Maybe he's keeping something under his hat. We'll see. Maybe it'll work for him, maybe it won't. Toshi about to get underway. He's got about a minute to go, so we'll take a quick break and we'll join him live in stage and some of the other starters.
People who know use Valvoline.
Sunday on Eurosport. It's rock and roll rally racing. Big prize money and big thrills with only one stage on a treacherous course over a mix of gravel and tarmac. That's Sunday at 11, the Cyprus Golden Stage Rally, live on Eurosport.
Welcome back. Toshi Rai is in theatre of a battle here. It looks like a rather benign and sort of gentle start to this one, Andrew, but it's anything but when you're inside.
Certainly. I mean, this is a wide piece of road here, so you've got plenty of room to move the car around. We can already see the roads dirty, possibly from the recce. Expect that to get worse on the second pass. This isn't so bad with Armco on the side. The cuts aren't so big, but look how dirty the road is already.
Yeah, there's going to be some dragging out, even here on the tarmac, as you can see. No wind here to hamper them, dragging even more dust around here. But Arai keeping it, I was just about to say tidy, and then all of a sudden lets it go. Exactly what you said, dust on the tarmac.
He's struggling with understeer, but you know, the car's set up for gravel. It's not really set up for these conditions. If he wants to go quickly, I think he's going to have to chuck it around a bit more than that. We saw the drivers last year who were setting good times really pitching the car in on tarmac, which was made for interesting spectator viewing.
Yes, exactly. Well, you probably have more of that. The transition point is always fascinating. He's starting to listen to you.
That's better. On the gas a bit earlier, you could see the car switched into oversteer straight away. Now, these tyres that Arai's got, apparently, we're not quite sure, but it's something to do with the block construction, and it's a compromised tyre, yes. They're hoping that the blocks won't move around as much, and that's the issue with the gravel tyre on tarmac, is the blocks are quite tall and they move around on the surface of the tyre, which doesn't give you such a good feeling of your grip levels. Yeah, well, it seems to be working for him now. He's getting the balance of the car, which is exactly what we thought. Here comes Lucides, one of our local drivers here. In fact, he was the premier ranked of the Cypriot riders here. Savas Laos is his co-driver. We'll see how he goes. Huge amount of wheel spin, smoking her up before. Oh, dear. So back with Arai now on a gravel section. You can see immediately the car turning in nicely. Look at the gravel as well. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not the dust hangs, whether or not we've got a breeze this morning. We didn't have any issues on the first stage with dust hanging, which was a big problem on Rally of Spain recently. Yeah, we did not either have any notes on the starting order until the very last. It was going to be Mikkelsen that went out. I think we thought better of it. Oh. Yeah, it's just clattering the front left as he goes through here. Incidentally, Nasser Al-Attiyah early on got a flat on the road section before the start of this morning, and believed he had a front drive shaft issue as well. Despite going well, he was in fact third quickest on stage 2 there. Glorious to see that summer is still hanging on in this part of the world. Let's listen in, shall we, and just enjoy this round.
Caution, brake, late, -4 right over crest, tight, -3 right. 100. -6 right. Brake.
What a glorious shot that is. One of our statics high up here. Having a mountainous area gives you these opportunities to find your camera points, and that's a beauty. We'll be seeing more of that, but a huge kick up of dust. Not very much breeze at all this morning. It may well hang around, but being so open, I think it will dissipate. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Not got any woodland to deal with just yet. Now, if Arai gets a good result here this weekend, he could win the very first IRC Production Cup as well, which wouldn't be a bad result for the R4 Impreza. Of course, been in development phase all this year. George Donaldson, ever enthusiastic about it when we saw him up in Scotland. And on the start line now, Patrick Sandell. Now, Patrick went for cuts on his first run this morning. He'll be sticking with that. But yes, he said he was getting an awful lot of wheel spin. How he'll deal with that was same kind of percentages this morning. Here we go. They want to get they want to get away smartish here. A lot of wheel spin right at the beginning. We love that.
50, easy right, 30.
Well, we said it was a mixed surface, Andrew, and you're seeing exactly that now. We've had tarmac, we've had dust, and now we've got well and truly stone and gravel and mixed sections even within these. Yeah, very much. Look at the road surface difference here. This is smooth gravel. A minute ago, we were almost in a riverbed. You can see different grades of gravel on the road from the different colours. But also, Carlton, the rhythm of the road completely changes from a road which is designed for people to drive their road cars on, a big, wide piece of tarmac, to a gravel road, which, you know, a forestry road, if you like, although there isn't much in the way of forest around here. But the characteristics and your rhythm change
changed the whole time.
The voice of Savas Laos, a little bit more lively. It's great how the co-drivers' personalities really do come across. Can't wait to get on board and just have a listen in. In fact, let's dip down and listen in. We've got the audio now. Enjoy.
So Losades there that we're on board with then. This is his first event in an S2000 car. In the past he's been in a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8 and then an Evolution 9 as well. He did this event last year in his Evo 8 and he came 12th in the IRC, 12th overall. So this is, you know, quite a big adaptation for him to make, although he will know the roads fairly well. It's all his rallying has been done in Cyprus.
Well, in the top dozen it bodes very well, which is why he's been given number 9 here. And going well and equal to that number. Interesting that they made those late switches to the running order. Mikkelsen, who is our rally leader, clearly a little bit of negotiation perhaps going on, especially as you've lost Hannanen. Maybe they just thought better of it and decided to switch the order.
Well, last night we had them running in seeded order. I believe they ran in seeded order again on the first stages today, and then we could see the cars parked up before the start line. That was a regroup, and that's where they've changed the running order. So it's reverse top 10, which is good for us because we get to see the fastest cars come through later in the running order.
Exactly, because the danger was that we're going to see Mikkelsen going out there at the beginning. Danger for him, of course, after the high drama this morning of losing Hannanen. If you're only just joining us, Hannanen rolling on the second corner of this morning stage, first real stage proper after the Super Special last night. Rolled it, went way clear. In fact, Neuville said had his start delayed a couple of minutes because they could actually see the action as it went. And talking about action, check this out.
Sandell then, and Skoda Sweden back Fabia S2000. A lot more Skodas here than Peugeots this week. Unfortunately, Peugeot elected not to send Brian Bouffier. That might be a bit of a mistake, having seen Hannanen go out so early on. They might have liked to have another championship contender with them here, but of course they've still got Thierry Neuville as well.
Well, it would have been a great top and tail of the season for Bouffier, of course, after the drama of his victory in Monte Carlo. Plenty of drama in the offing here. It might not be snow, but it's just tricky.
Sandell then, this is a lovely job through there, proper sideways. Sandell, obviously gravel expert, he's done pretty well this year. I mean, he started fairly slowly, but he started to show some pace in Scotland. Of course, he set a fastest time on one of the stages and then unfortunately ripped the wheels off coming over the flying finish. And so whilst it was the fastest time, it was also a retirement for him.
There's optimistic, there's all the splits. Whether we'll have them for you is another matter. A bit of a relay issue today, but we'll do our level best for you. Certainly you've got the drama here. That was a lovely cut.
It's interesting watching the difference between Sandell and Losades. When you look at Losades, he's learning the S2000 car, whereas Sandell is a much more experienced driver in proper machinery, and you can see he's really chucking the car around.
Yeah, he had a super run this morning, actually, considering the men who are in front of him. Don't forget, last year's winner, Alataya, finishing just ahead of him. But Sandell, yes, just shy of Kopetsky's time. So driving beyond himself here, or up to his usual standard on gravel, I suspect. Despite the fact it's 64% tarmac, he seems to be handling it well. Oh, shame we've lost the voice of Stefan Permanda. But next up we'll have Carl Kruder. Now, he lost his intercom, incidentally, and I don't know whether he's managed to fix it during the opening run this morning. So he actually drove on memory. Now, that is a difficult thing to do.
Well, losing his intercom's better than what he lost in Scotland, if you remember, Carlton. Last time we saw Kruder, he was still at the side of the road, very near our transmission point in Scotland, waiting for someone to come pick up his Skoda, which was minus most of the left-hand side. So, yes, he's had a better run here, even if his intercom has gone. Promising young driver, Kruder. So it'll be great to see just what you can do with a bit more experience again in these proper cars. Lots of drivers learning, and there's a few drivers on this event as well who we haven't seen during the season quite so much.
Martin Iervaoha is his Estonian co-driver. Yeah, that loose connection meant that there was no intercom right at the beginning of the run this morning, and then intermittent from then on. He said he was driving by memory for at least half of this morning's stage, which bodes very well for Kruder, because he was in 12th place. But you know, driving on memory is a difficult thing because, well, you hear how lively and important the co-drivers are. It's absolutely vital, isn't it?
Yeah, a little mistake from them here. Sorry, from him there. He just got it pitched in slightly early and had to turn back out the corner again. But yes, without a co-driver, Carlton, you're completely stuffed. Unless you know a stage exceptionally well. You have to remember the distances they're travelling over. You know, this stage is 24 kilometres long. It's not something where you can remember with the sheer commitment which is necessary to set good times in this championship.
Absolutely. And look at the average speeds that they're picking up here. And you see as well, once again, the difference here. You've got kind of gravel repair work, I think the grey stuff is. Then you've got the natural sort of sandy stuff that is what these roads are normally. The grey stuff sort of filling in a few potholes, and you see it on the approaches too and the exits from bridges as well, just to smooth things out, because you often get a concrete flat-bodied bedded bridge which you do onto and off. They kind of smooth that out, but how much that will last is another question.
So on board with Freddie Loix now then. This, as we've said already, is Freddie's fast Freddie, very fast on tarmac. This is his first event on gravel for about 3 years, he reckons, I think, in the IRC. And looking at his commitment in these corners, I think we can see that already. Just doesn't seem to have the confidence in the car. There's a lot of loose gravel on the road,
yeah,
but all the same.
Well, at least he can settle himself down when it comes to tarmac, 64% of the time, but as you've seen, the differences here are absolutely vital. He's changed the ride height, incidentally, for this run, we understand. He wasn't happy with it this morning at all and dropped 45 seconds.
Now, interestingly, Freddie Loix as well, he is considering tomorrow we have 2 stages, one of which is 100% gravel and one of which is 100% tar. And at the moment, Loix is the only driver who's going to take spanners with him and actually adjust the ride height of the car in between the stages. Whether or not that'd be enough to make up the 45 seconds he's already lost this morning, it'd be great to see him show a little bit better on this stage, but we'll wait and see when he crosses the finish line.
He's got the capability of fitting an afterburner, I do not know, but he's so committed here on the straightest sections here. I kind of worry on his approaches to the corners. Let's see how he goes. You know, the one thing you always get with Freddie is a real fight.
He is, yeah. I mean, you know, he came here as an outside bet. It's a great shame he didn't come to Scotland. I would have loved to have seen him in Scotland. Then he would have come to this event at least with some gravel time underneath him, underneath his belt. But yeah, he was an outside bet for the championship. Everyone was an outside bet, in my opinion, aside from Hannanen. Yeah, Hannanen only had 6 results. If he won this event, he'd won the championship. He only needed to be on the podium and beat Kopecky. And to me, he was going to beat Kopecky on a mixed surface event. He is out, and that now means that whichever one of these top 4 drivers wins this rally, wins the championship.
Yeah, there are all kinds of permutations. Here is Mikkelsen right now. He is our rally leader, don't forget. We'll get to him in a moment. But win it, and you win the championship. It's as simple as that.
And bin it, and you lose it. Yep. Unfortunately, that's what happened to Hannanen.
Well, even other errors or just discomfort, as in Freddie Loix, and you're in trouble. Look at this. Talk about commitment.
Well, watching Mikkelsen's style, it's interesting. Again, he's got the commitment which Loix is missing, but he's not throwing the car around quite so sideways as Sandell. And the top drivers now will tell you that most of these cars and the way that the tyres have been developed, they are best driven tidy and straight on the exit to give you the most traction. It's not necessarily what we like to see. Most of us like to see big, Larry sideways moments most of the while, but that's the matter of the fact of how quickly to drive a modern rally car.
Yes, when Cody's filming himself, right, coming across the line for our first time here. Unfortunately, we've got no timing on screen just for the time being, and we'll wait for our officials to catch up. It's all got to be approved in a moment. We will, though, have a word with Toshi, maybe about his fresh week.
So, Toshihiro, how was the stage, which seems to be very slippery?
Yeah, very slippery, because in the first half, in the tarmac, so very tight, then wide road, very, very slippery place, completely sideways, so have to change the mind, so not so easy for me, yeah.
But you are happy with the setup of the car?
Yeah, I think generally not so bad, but so not so easy to drive in the gravel.
You make the setup for the asphalt, tarmac?
No, just the gravel one, but just a little bit harder, and also tire is like tarmac tire, so not so easy to drive in very, very especially very, very slippery gravel. So
okay, thank you very much.
Well, there you are. The special nature of his tyre is he's gone for essentially more of a tarmac leaning tyre.
Yeah, interesting. We'd heard it was a special tyre this morning. We had a that he might be on a special tyre, but as we haven't seen a look at it, it's hard to tell, but he is definitely saying there that it's more of a tarmac tyre. So on board with Mickelson then, winner of Rally Scotland, and I think probably championship favourite now. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, it's almost... it would be a great thing if Mickelson became the champion here. I'm not writing anybody else off, of course, and not offering up any favouritism either. I think it'd be good for the sport. He's just such a fantastic ambassador almost. Good guy in action. Whoa!
Massive moment. Massive. OK, Carlton, I think we should shut up. We've given him the commentator's curse. Mickelson off.
And in the saving of it as well, he's just nosed it. Is he beached? No, he's back here. Well, 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 well. There you go. Just as we were talking him up, he let himself down.
Well, as I say, commentator's curse, but, you know, all joking aside, we saw how quickly it went wrong for Hannon this morning. This rally is not over until it's absolutely finished. That's one little mistake from Mickelson there. He was very lucky to get away with it. And I think we've seen there that this won't be over for another couple of days.
Keep it safe, keep your hopes alive. Maybe that's what Freddie Lux is thinking. Lukaitis comes through here. 13:11. These times, well, maybe they'll be good ones by the end. Goodness gracious me. Mickelson letting it go, but retrieving it, over-retrieving it, you might say. Just knows himself, almost beached it. And look at the confidence. It's ebbing away from him here. Let's see what Lucidis has to say.
How was the stage? Very, very slippery, we seeing?
How was the stage? Was picking up the pace a little bit. I think it was much better than before.
Okay, thank you very much.
Goodness me. I think weight regime, he might have some balance to play with. Here we go then, back with Mickelson at the moment. Now he's angry. He's got his focus back, we hope, and away he goes. Back to smooth, perhaps.
It doesn't look too smooth right now, does he? He's all, this is a replay, so massively sideways, catches it, the weight comes back the other way, and he can't hold the transition. Just noses it into the ditch. Pretty lucky, really, Carlton, not to go further off the road. Big drop on the left here, he just holds on.
And even on the return, he was lucky that he actually managed to pull it up. Here is Sandell. Goodness me, it's all kicking off here. We lost Hannon this morning, and Mickelson, who's effectively our rally leader and champion in waiting, suddenly gets it very wrong.
Much better from Sandell there, much faster time from him. That's what we can expect the leaders to be doing. 27 seconds quicker.
Best time. I think that you are happy with your stage.
No, it was a really good fun stage. I like the downhill part because then it really doesn't matter what engine you have. But no, it was a good stage for us. Maybe a bit too much sideways on the gravel part. It was a lot of loose on the top, but overall I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
That was interesting. It doesn't matter what engine you've got on a downhill section. It's about finesse.
So on board now then with Thierry Neuville, the only Peugeot elected to send him and not to send Bouffier. The two cars run by separate teams. I was a little bit disappointed they didn't come to some sort of an arrangement where maybe Kronos ran Bouffier just for one event, because Bouffier was another title hopeful, but they've decided against it. So this is it. He's their sole hope, and he's trying hard. Yes,
no co-coms here, I'm afraid. Neuville, incidentally, despite having seen Hannon go off, kept his focus on stage 2, the opening stage of this morning after last night's Super Special, and was second only to Mickelson, don't forget, 3.9 seconds down on him on Colinia. That was earlier on this morning. Well, right now he's on a full charge and looking very good, but we have to be careful what we say. Beautiful shot as he lights up the morning low sun here, autumnal it might be. On board with Neuville as well, right-hand side of your screen, Kruder as well, waiting to get underway or pick back up with him in just a few moments' time. There is the bright yellow machine of Peugeot Team Belux. This is going to be fascinating to see how they come across the line. Kruder up next.
Neuville there, the sideways on shot we had, you could see the 207 was running massive ground clearance, very, very high off the ground. So to see whether or not he suffers on the tarmac sections because of that.
So, Kruder is that comes to our interview point. Thank goodness. Here he is, Kruder up next for a brief chat on the day. And look at that. Neuville at the moment. Can't wait to see his time. It's going to be good. We know that. Right then, downstairs.
Carl, we see that you have a lot of oversteer on the car in a track, but you make the second times. It seems that you have a lot of oversteers in the car, but some hits on the track, but you have the second time. Fine?
Second time, not fine. Not fine. First time and with the mileage I would be fine, but yeah, oversteering, I have to say for a young guy like me, it's fantastic to drive. In the mountains in Cyprus, you can just drift and drift. I feel like a drift king. Too much, so I need to do something about it to go faster, because I need to tackle a little bit the guys in front of me.
There you go, second, no good. Always great to hear a competitive spirit like that. Carl Critter with intercom problems, obviously fixed at the regroup, thank goodness. Just a loose connection, we understand.
If those splits are correct, Neuville's taken 11 seconds out of Mikkelsen halfway through this stage. If he does, he's going to bring the championship fight right to life, right here and now. He really is trying hard inside the 207 S2000. It'd be fascinating to see whether or not... Of course, Mikkelsen had his little off as well.
Yep. Well, cool as a cucumber he was earlier on. Mikkelsen's off, the difference between them, essentially. He did come to a halt, don't forget. Managed to get it going very, very quickly. Freddie Loix will be to our interview point very quickly indeed. And there he is at 12.10. He's getting more comfortable here. Whatever changes he made to the ride height clearly have gone the right way for Freddie Loix. He dropped 45 seconds this morning, don't forget. And he is our quickest so far with a 12.10. Freddie, our leader in this stage so far, 18.16 kilometers. Freddie, he knows we're here. He's waiting for his own time.
Best time for the moment for you. You got the best time for the moment.
Sorry?
You got the best time for the moment.
For the moment, but the big boys, they are coming behind me. So, you know, this morning the first stage was quite difficult. Of course, it was more than 2 years and not have been driving anything on gravel anymore. So, but okay, now I try to build up the speed, but I have to hurry up because otherwise it's too late.
Okay, we'll see. Thanks very much.
There you go. Build up the speed, otherwise it's too late. He's said it himself, but he's done it exactly right, Andrew. He's found his rhythm.
Yeah, he has, and you know, we have seen Freddie traditionally all year start fairly slowly and then build his pace up as the rally goes on. It's unfortunate that I think that's too big a gap to make up to people like Mikkelsen, but we'll see.
However much he smiled or looked rueful this morning, Kopetzky's got to find his focus here because he's got two huge talents behind him in the championship. Just because you're leading does not mean you're going to win it. Overall standings we're talking about. He's got to go well here, Kopetzky, but equally he's got to find the balance between going well and keeping safe.
That's a balance he struggled to find in the last. A couple of stunning wins in the middle of the season, really fought for them as well. Super close finishes. How many record finishes have we had this year? I think four, is it, within 2 seconds, which is just unbelievable. But San Remo, Scotland, he was nowhere.
Well, you've got them on your screen at the moment. This is where the stories will be told. Cannot wait to hear what Mikkelsen has got to say. Carrying the Union Jack as he does, this brave Norwegian. Comes through, check that out, 12.08, 1.9 faster than Freddie Loix, despite taking a spin. Shows you how quickly he was going.
He was indeed. It's going to be, of course, Neuville and Kopetzky's times are going to give us a really good idea. This is going to, Mikkelsen's going to lose that little lead he built up.
What a morning.
Andreas, you spun, but you had the fastest time.
Yes, but the quick guys are coming from behind, so it was a shame we had a spin. Lost maybe 8-10 seconds, so okay, it's the way it is. We need to push if we want to stay in front, but other than that, it was an okay stage.
Okay, thank you very much, Andreas.
There you go, good summations here. Got to push if you want to stay in front, absolutely. So what's Kopetzky got? And big question is, what's Neuville got? Look at that gap there, and other tyres running well as well. You'd expect that. He won here last time by.
Kopetzky using every inch of the road in the town there as well. Carlton loved that right the way out towards the wall. Very narrow section on tarmac there. Of course, these cars moving around a lot on these gravel tyres and setups.
Wonderful, wonderful stop. Past the slow hasher markers for a school entrance. Thankfully, everyone's locked up and the whistles are doing their job here. Great marshalling, incidentally. No issues whatsoever with crowds, despite a massively packed Paphos last night. And just look at this. A lot of dragged chalk dust all over the place here. It's almost like concrete.
Well, the characteristics of the stage are going to change quite considerably. These gravel sections we've seen, which are really gravelly, they're going to get swept for this afternoon's run, and the tarmac sections are going to get covered in gravel. So they're not going to come through this stage this afternoon and know exactly what's going on.
Here comes Neuville then. The big yellow machine coming through, 16.8. That's a massive chunk of time.
It is a massive chunk of time. I would say that he would have been quicker there than Mikkelsen, even watch on Mikkelsen's off. It's hard to tell. And it may have affected Mikkelsen's rhythm as well. Either way, the fight's on.
Yes, it is. And Neuville, don't forget, he knows how brutal this would be. He watched Hannanen go off this morning, don't forget. Well, talk about gaining your focus. Amazing.
So Thierry, best time of the stage, overall lead.
Yeah, I pushed very, very hard. I prefer asphalt. It's like this, and that's the surface where I can push to the maximum, so I did it.
You're happy with the setup of the car?
Yeah, not bad, but there are still some changes to do.
Okay, thank you very much.
Still some changes to do for the man who wears a very specialist eyewear from Berlin. I'll give you the name later because he does got some groovy stuff. Talking about in the groove, Nasser Al Attiyah, winner in 2010, is back to do more ahead of the Dakar.
Indeed, so a bit of a Dakar legend. He was rumoured to be up for a VW drive earlier on this year, which he was then apparently had turned down because they wouldn't let him defend the Dakar title. Of course, none of us will really know exactly what went on in the VW boardrooms, but either way, he's looking at starting his own World Rally team with some Middle East backing next year and choosing between an M Sport Fiesta and a Citroen DS3. But
he's a super gentleman, actually. Don't forget, an Olympic skeet shooter as well. You'll be seeing in the London 2012 Games next year. He's an Olympian in all departments.
English place notes as well.
70. Long left 1 minus until the sign. 70. Go. Sign 70. Left 3 medium. Don't go wide. 100. 3 medium. 100. Right 4 medium. 4 gear. Don't go wide. 4 medium. 4 gear. 100. 4 gear.
Bernaccini doing the calling here, and Al Attiyah asking for a repeat of one of the notes there.
He pitched it in as well, backed it right into one of those corners. Al Attiyah looked very, very comfortable, didn't he, last year? He was really showboating on the second day last year and nearly spun it himself. I remember him being right on the lot stop. So
here we go, Kopetzky's time then, second quickest, so ahead of the spinning Mikkelsen here.
But only by a couple of seconds. Neuville has completely destroyed Kopetzky through there, assuming Kopetzky didn't have too many problems.
Wow.
Look at the tyres, about half worn. Sometimes you can use worn rubber on a mixed surface stage and get better results on the tarmac sections. Let's find out from Jan how he got on in
you
there.
Have the second time of the stage, 13 seconds behind Neuville. So, how was it for you?
Yeah, for us it was quite okay. Still a new co-driver, so it's still, you know, it's not completely perfect between us, but okay, it's normal because this rally is very difficult. But he's doing a really great job, and okay, rally is still long, so now we have some knowledge of these two stages, and we try to push harder now.
We know that Hannanen is going out on the first stage in the morning. Is this changing something for you in the strategy of the race?
I have to say I was not counting, you know, on which position I need to come to the finish, so I don't know.
Okay, thank you very much.
Dresler is in the seat. Starry is usual co-driver, not very well unfortunately, and that can add to a little bit of discomfort for a driver, more than.
It's a tough break, you know, he's been working with Starry all year long. If you remember, I think Starry broke a rib earlier on in the year when they chose to miss that rally rather than replace him. You know, he's come into the championship fight with not his regular co-driver on board. It does make a big difference.
Full commitment downhill from Al Attiyah. Phenomenal.
Stay left over crest, 40, stay right over crest, and caution left 3 medium, cut on the flying finish, caution, 40, right one.
Big approach, how's that for quick?
Fairly innocuous looking piece of road, but as you can see, it stay left over crest, stay right over crest. You're talking 6th gear stuff. It's only a tiny change in direction over the crest, but you get it wrong, and my God, it's a big off.
Well, we saw that last year, did we not? Nasser second quickest. Only Neuville, who said it was fully committed, quicker.
Nasser, you thought that you have a drive shaft problem after the first stage, but you take the second time there, so I guess everything's fine.
Yeah, because this stage is not difficult, it's downhill, you know, and after, you know, we have a lot of tarmac. But I don't feel really good with the cars, you know. I change a little bit the click and suspension too hard, but it's okay. I feel it's more comfortable, you know. But okay, now we try change suspension and we try change the drive shaft.
Okay, thank you very much, Nasser.
Thank you.
Well, he still thinks he's got a drive shaft problem. I think he'll be dropping more time than that, but we'll find out later on in the day. The suspension, when he says the clicks, you can adjust the bump and the rebound on the suspension for high speed and low speed, depending on whether it's a bump or a jump, basically. And he says he's adjusted it. He said it was too hard, but I didn't know whether he meant he was going towards hard or it was too hard before. But some complicated setup conversations from NASA there, and he's still set a decent time, whatever's wrong with the car.
Here doing a great job. Super run by Attaya nonetheless, and if he is compromised, it bodes very well for him later on.
Does indeed.
So we've got some rather fancy liveries coming through. It'll be a whole host of Cypriot drivers, and Vollenwein, I beg your pardon, is on screen right now, but Cypriot's coming through. He was good for 8th on his last run through here. I think he might have just dropped down to around about 10th coming into this one. But we're going to take ourselves a break after Vollenwein comes home. He ran well on the opener. Mind you, so did Matthias Kahler. The Germans go well here. A lot of them on holiday.
I think we saw Vollenwein for the first time in Monte Carlo this year in a Fabia S2000. He's done a few events as well. He's not the only German driver here. Matthias Karl is here as well, and Karl is actually ahead of him at the minute, but not by much, only about 9 seconds. Toshi Arai separates them in the overall classification. So Vollenwein, another young German, will be looking to make a career out of rally driving, especially with a big German manufacturer on their way in.
Yes, exactly. Yes, they bring an awful lot of funding, the Germans, and they're looking for young talent, and in Vollenwein, well, they've probably found it. Beautiful shots. Credit to the cameraman on board the helicopter here. 51.2 though, that's a big drop.
It's a lot of time to lose, to be fair. It's 2 seconds a kilometre to the top drivers. He's still learning. There's a long way to go. It's easy to be critical from outside the car. Yeah, so learning process still.
Seeing just how much the tyre wall's taking the punishment here. Let's have a word.
For you? Yeah, quite nice. So we are improving. It was better than the first time, but really slippy. So we try to stay on the road. It's okay for us.
Okay, thank you very much.
Andrew Coley with a one-word roundup of that run. I'll let you know maybe one day by mail. Here we go then. Let's take a brief break, shall we? And we'll be back with some of those further down the order, and maybe just a chat with 1 or 2 more who've had their travails today. Back in a moment.
People who know use Valvoline.
Welcome back. Matthias Kahler, who went off with soft tyres earlier on today. Some question marks over. Good for 7th place on the opening run today. And I suspect he may well be just looking to beat Mark Vollenwein's time. And 8th quickest, dropping 45 seconds. So, yes, the German's not having the finest of runs through here.
About 10 seconds quicker, isn't he, than Vollenwein, so he will increase his gap over him at least.
And as I said, that's probably his first target here, I imagine.
I think he's fairly solidly 7th, to be fair. All the guys ahead of him are very much quicker.
You assigned the 8th time of the stage. How do you feel in the car?
Oh, the feeling was good. I think we have the wrong tires because we use a softer one. And in the first stage, there was a finish after the stage. And now we have in the rear the old ones. And there's not so much grip in the rear. But it was okay, it was fun. It was a nice day.
Thank you very much.
There you go, went for the old ones.
So he would have been carrying, what he means by that is he's carried 2 spares on board, I think you'll find. So he's got old tyres on the rear, put a new pair on the front, so the balance of the car not great. But soft tyres, Carlton, I mean, you know, it's high ambient temperatures, rough, hard roads with tarmac sections. A very surprising decision, I thought.
Well, there you go. He rolled the dice. At least quicker than Mark Vollenwein, but possibly his experience coming into that to beat the youngster. We'll see. So glorious, isn't it? I suppose you could turn the heating off if it it didn't affect your green credentials. Stick your t-shirt on, get close to the screen, and maybe you could dream about summertime. Neuville, he's in a happy place at the moment. Nasser Al-Attiyah, second behind him on stage 3 here. Salamiou will be coming back through this later on. Kopecky, I think, needs to find something else. Mikkelsen just needs to keep it on the road, frankly. Just as we were talking about, as we said earlier, he let himself down, but did not look happy at the end, but possibly a good wake-up for him as well. But what a run by Thierry Neuville. Absolutely majestic. Said he was really pushing hard. And when a rally driver says that, believe me, that is close to the edge. So, classification for stage 3. Overall, at the moment, Neuville leads Mikkelsen by 8.8 seconds, I can tell you. Mikkelsen just dropping off the lead. He's almost swapping that time difference between themselves. It bodes very well for a good... Has got to really push hard. He's got a deficit at the moment of 21.2.
Al-Attiyah there in 4th. Of course, it'd be interesting to see whether or not he can repeat his win here, but not a championship contender, and neither is Patrick Sandel. But great to see those guys here in their S2000 cars and being very entertaining with their sideways style too.
Yes, absolutely. Almost need to fix some cameras out of the side windows just to keep in touch with you. Freddie Loix, 1 minute and 1 down. Ouch.
Too far off, isn't it? Unfortunately, that's the lowest of our title contenders, other than Hannon, of course, who's in a ditch on special stage 2.
Don't forget, this afternoon we'll be back with another run through this. So you've seen it once, but so have they. We look forward to that. Don't forget, it'll be on British Eurosport 2 International Primary Channel. So International 1, do it in 1 or 2, and British Eurosport 2. There it is then, Salamiou. 1500 Central European time, that's 2 p.m. in the United Kingdom, Portugal and Ireland, and other places as well. So look forward to your company. I'm Carlton Kirby, alongside me Andrew Coley. What a morning.
Indeed, very much looking forward to this afternoon, and the championship fight, most important.
Yes, it is. We're in Cyprus. It's the big battle. If you've got what it takes, it's time to show it right now. We'll be back later. Hope you can join us for that. For now, from Cyprus, farewell.